Is it a marketing strategy? Is it just bad practice? I mean, I don't know. All I know is my goal is to just smash all of them. The guys that are smart enough to know that are building their own engines. It's just the way I look at it.
Right,
Is
but if you're gonna put 20 engines out in the field, how does it serve you to have guys that have engines that aren't as proud on the dyno or aren't as proud as the racetrack?
because
That's not
what ends up happening is they race the same class as well. So what they do is if they feel as though their customers are quicker than them in certain aspects, they'll find ways. You may not get the latest and greatest. They may give you just enough. They may use you as a test dummy for certain things, but if they feel you become too fast, and that's what happened with me. I started getting curious and asking questions and doing all these things. Why aren't we running? Why aren't we doing this? Oh, you don't need them. You don't need them. Then we show up to the track. We're racing next to each other. They grenade an engine. They take the head off. They have they have all the things that I've asked. Like, why aren't we running them? It's in their engine, but not in mine. And then that sort of drove the curiosities to dig deeper. Then we start uncovering all these different things. It started with the valve jobs. And then as a tuner, I'm tuning the engine, and the guy's looking at me like, maybe is Jamie holding me back? Why did I buy everything that Jamie has and I don't make the same horsepower as Jamie? And it's really a problem. And that's, the end goal is to sort of change that and take the bottom guy, and Dave and I talked about it. We want to take the bottom guy and make one of the guys on the bottom, the fastest car in the class, or one of the fastest cars in the class, just to show, you know, um, that this is the stuff that's going on. And it's not just them, it's everywhere. It's just a thing. If you're not in their clique and you're not in their circle, you're getting the second best. You're getting the shit that they were running 2, 3 years ago. And is it a marketing strategy? Is it just bad practice? I mean, I don't know. All I know is my goal is to just smash all of them. It's to just take it and push the number so far, and not just me. It's to push after I push the number so far, take all the other guys that were loyal and do the same for them because they deserve it. These guys are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years to get the second best or the third best of what's out there for guys that don't even understand engines.
man. I wonder if this is some Honda guy stuff. I
Ding
couldn't
ding.
pull that off.
Honda
I
guy
couldn't
stuff.
like I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I couldn't. I have a problem with spending other people's money like it's my money. Like I'm very cost conscious as I spend people's money. But to knowingly put someone in a position of compromise, that's a bit icky.
It's a reality.
I think this all kind of goes back to some of the beginning of this session where we talked about people not asking questions, right? In the Honda community, well, I don't want to put it on just our community, but people are not educated to the point where they're capable of asking those good follow-up questions or able to measure certain elements of their engine at home to verify these things. Therefore, we go off of this, we have this trust scenario where it's like, well, that's what Jamie runs, or he posted that's what he runs, so I'm gonna run it. And this is where we end up.
I know. I'd like to put um, my we're better than that kind of hat on the industry, and maybe I'm just wrong.
Well, there's the situation when you don't know much, everything's a secret, and you play it close to the vest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when you're just playing with such a small bit of
Well,
information.
yeah. You guys are in a fairly small pool. There's only going to be one guy that has the fastest all motor Honda, especially on a spec fuel with a weight. And if you guys rule out uh, some clutch technology and this and that, like, yeah, it could be that competitive. And if it's maybe not with malintent, but maybe just by the competitive nature of some people, they're always going to give someone else the second best stuff because they need to run up front themselves. I guess I could wrap my head around that.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we covered this, but like the reason why I stopped doing this stuff in 2015 was because everything shifted to fuel, and people could not understand all motor versus fuel.
Yeah, fuel is not all motor.
Right. And so, and then Jamie hit me up out of the blue. It's like, hey, I went this fast. And I'm like, who are you? Good. I don't know. Like, and then I asked him, is it like, what kind of fuel? Because if it was nitro, I'd be like, oh, cool. See you later. It's like M1. It's a thing. It's like popular. I'm like, oh, really? It's like the Reddit.
Is M1 the best fuel?
It's just pure methane.
I know. I mean,
I've come to talk with you again.
I know what it is. It's the best stuff for turbo cars. Is it the best stuff for all motor?
Here's the weird part is looking at it from the science standpoint. This is what kind of drives me nuts.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Being putting the scientist hat on in the chemical engineering now is, in reality, methanol is really not a true all-motor fuel. It contains one oxygen molecule, where gasoline, pure gasoline, is probably a more true all-motor gasoline. But the problem is, how do you test for it, effectively in these races with, the technologies that are available at these racetracks? So I think methanol became the go-to fuel because you can do simple things like specific gravity in water, and that will cover 99% of any possibility to cheat or alter the fuel. And then you have some bleach testing and some other odds and ends that you can do to validate even further. But
all right, but you could have a spec gasoline.
You can, but then how do you regulate them using it, and how do you measure for it at the scales?
Well, you
would have to send it out for analysis. Yeah,
an official fills the fuel and seals the tank.
Yeah, and then guys like would dead end these fuel systems and run gasoline on one side capped, going nowhere, and then the other side of the rail had 70% nitromethane. Well, now it became too crazy in certain colors and certain things of fuel, and guys were allowing certain things like M5, and one guy would measure at 805 specific gravity, and then all of a sudden you get a guy at 850, and then he's arguing and swearing up and down that the can isn't altered, it came from VP that way. And if you water test them both, they both come back the same cloudiness. So I think methanol became an easy way for them to, if someone decided one day that, hey, this is what we're going to do, and it's easy to test, and everyone kind of ran with it. But in reality, it still contains an oxygen molecule. And can you alter it in certain forms? No. I mean, you can do certain things to it to change its physical property and gain small things, but not like huge horsepower numbers like you can with nitromethane and some other things.
You give up air mass.
You do. That's part of this project, is how do we optimize using that fuel, understand that methanol may be the
what about some of that spec fuel in pro stock motorcycle? There's a Sunoco gas that has some toluene mixed in that's supposed to be pretty premium fuel for an aspirated engine. You've never tried that?
Toluene has, the problem is with those types of oxygenators, it's like, how do you then validate? How do we, in the end, have some type of validation to say, hey, this was truly all motor and it wasn't some oxygenated fuel? Which I think that's the end goal, is using as much as the atmosphere, the oxygen from the atmosphere, to combust versus potential energy in fuel. And toluene or MTBE or some of the other things that may jack up that combustion.
I think the M1 thing is just the easiest to police, just out of simplicity for this group of racers. It's just the easiest, since everybody's so cheat happy anyways.
Yep.
I just wonder if it's the most powerful approach.
Well,
staying away from nitromethane.
Yeah. I mean, the BTU of gas should be higher. Alcohol makes more power because it has twice the volume.
Yeah. Do you have a CDI box on your car, Jamie?
I do.
Did you see a gain from that?
I did. Consistency lighting it off. And again, we're playing with pressures and temperatures and all these different things related to methanol. But in the end, it just boils down to volume. Volume and some of the volume, the mass that you lose uh, is just a challenge that we're just trying to overcome. And I think we're getting there. We're definitely going along the right path. It's just optimizing things within the space constraints that we have.
When I first got involved with his stuff, I looked at his engine. I'm like, the fuck, you guys have gone backwards since 2015. Like,
Literally.
literally.
Well, that happens. If you get enough people that believe, well, it goes back to the Messiah thing. Everybody wants to believe that there's something right around the corner that's going to be better than what's proven.
The Messiah! He's gone! Where did he go?
So it's easy to get lost. There are things that it happens in cycles. You know, there was a guy that was real fast 5 years ago, and today someone went just as fast as he did 5 years ago, and he'll be celebrated, whereas the guy 5 years ago is forgotten. So
Yeah,
a lot of
well,
stuff gets lost.
this is a 10-year lens of time, and they went backwards quite dramatically.
They went to a smaller valve, chasing airspeed, and they found some gains in velocity there, and just decided on sticking to that instead of. So all of the other theories behind that would make all motor, making it bigger, making it more efficient, went out the window because they just could not figure out what would be the next steps. They just put something bigger in there, it didn't work because they didn't optimize anything else, and then decided to go backwards and stuck there.
If I'm always going to be half a second ahead, what's the fun of that?
Yeah, I got all the lie detection machines here. If you ain't breaking, you're not going fast.
Looking at the industry, yeah, he's a fucking bottom feeder. When they go to sleep at night, running by shit.
I just like up 5-year plans.
Well, I like that too. I like up 10-year plans.
I'll stop making fun of you when you admit
That you're running my shit.
Just remember, I'm your dad.
Living well is the best revenge. No, putting your parts in other people's car and having them lie about it is
That's the best revenge, man. That one feels good. It's simple.
it's not.
In 2015, when I started doing this, and it freaked everybody out, and everybody started getting on their porting benches and throwing up flow numbers and all of that stuff. They were at 38.5 and 38 millimeter valves 10 years ago. And then when I saw his thing, it's like, why is it a 37?
They went backwards. My first head was a 38.3, and my first head from was a 38.3, and my last head from him was a 37.
Yeah, and then it's sort of like, yeah, you can go so you can only go so big. There's a point where it's just too much shrouding, you know. So there's like a limit. Like in my past testing a 39 or whatever, I didn't see many gains. I didn't see gains with a 39.
This is on a 90 millimeter bore.
Yeah,
90 and 90 and a half we've tested on.
Stock valve is 35. The class is running 37.
Man, it's a lot of valve area when you multiply it times 2. You know, to kind of put it in perspective of the valve area of a 2-valve engine. These engines have a ton of valve area. Yeah.
But you also have 7,400 feet per minute piston speed, so I don't think you can ever make.
Well, going back to the Panigale Ducati engine as a reference, when you math that bore size up to the K, where did the intake valve end up? Are they 30? I think they're 32 millimeter intake valves on that little engine.
I don't know, but when I mathed it up, it ended up being like millimeter valves. So if you got that much valve area for something with such low piston speed,
Yeah,
imagine when you got the extreme piston speed, what kind of valve area that you need.
right.
You know, so it's kind of like the stock 38 is kind of the max.
Dave, do you want to give me one of these engines to run and land speed?
Oh, we could talk about it.
I got a little front wheel drive car that it's already got all the safety equipment in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you could talk about it. You can go out there on Mirage with it yourself. I'll just see you there.
No, it's hot and dirty. You can go out there.
Hello, anyone? Have you seen the race?
I think we should all look at like pre-watch the Bain thing, and then we can watch it together and comment.
Yeah, I'll watch. I watched quite a bit of it last night. But I'll be home by 8 or something, and I'll watch it again and get it wrapped up.
Yeah, I want to get some other people on here too. So like when we're talking about pistons, I already reached out to my guy at CP and say, can we get a piston engineer on here, or maybe I'll do it at CP myself. Like tape it at CP.
Yep.
So like bring the experts in, let the experts talk. We're just the end users for that stuff.
Yeah, I think that especially a company like CP, because they've done so well with customs, they have a really strong program when it comes to finished product customs.
Yeah. They're literally in the same. I live in the same city, so I just drive over there. We'll call.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
Yeah,
really nice to live next to the piston shop.
No, I was there a couple months ago, and I got to see some of the production stuff they're doing, and it's really neat.
For
really,
what vehicles?
Some late model Chevrolets.
Custom CP pistons, not like.
Well, no, custom CP pistons and production
for like
OEM production based stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got some pretty. I mean, I'm biased because that's kind of been my go-to piston for so long, CP.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nice stuff.
Yeah. So when we do piston stuff, I'll bring in the piston experts. Man, at some point, I'd love to get on here and just chop it up with him.
I would too. After I was thinking about the inlet valve, I went back to some of posts on his inlet valve size, because he's a 2-valve engine versus these 4-valve engines, and guys really got quite a program.
My takeaway, if you watch all his videos, my takeaway is max out the valve size and spin it as fast as you can, lift it as high as you can.
Yeah.
Right. Start there. That's my takeaway.
Yeah. Yeah. And he, it looked like, I don't know what his early work was like, and I don't know what kind of pushback he experienced as he came into the privateer market, but he did talk a lot about valve lift and a lot about RPM, and he just made it seem like it's not that complicated, guys. This is just what you need to do to put down these big numbers, and you look at like some bagger Harley going 930s.
Yeah.
You're just like, holy moly. Like that's fast.
Yeah. He's got a lot of like good parts for the M8 engine now. Like he's got a line of camshafts for the thing.
Yeah.
Camshafts, but like see, there's a lot of my views are aligned with more than some other people, because like I'm at that point where I don't trust the flow bench.
Yeah.
Because I've literally tested something with a and it flows higher than something with a.
Yeah. No, the most talented NA guy I know, he jokes a lot about the flow bench. You look at it, he probably doesn't know the last time he turned the thing on.
Yeah.
It's just obsolete to him.
Yeah.
But some guys live and die by the flow bench,
You can't.
I know, but it's hard to present that without some pushback on the guys that believe it. There's a lot of belief system stuff that people are going to just go to the grave with, but with the stuff that you guys are talking about doing with the end user solution packages and recipes, you won't need to argue flow bench or no bench, because you'll just say, here, this is what you need. They take it from there.
Yeah. So like I said, on the flow bench, I reached a point where it's like I put a in there and I can make it flow more. just by
Yeah.
putting the in there, right? Test pressure 28 inches, but operating pressure inside of engine is not 28 inches.
Yeah, that was the big disconnect for me in the flow bench was it doesn't whatever stimulation or manipulation the port is under on a flow bench, it doesn't really have much to do with what's happening on the engine.
Right. Especially like 20, for example, 28 inches measuring the exhaust. The exhaust is near supersonic. It's literally an explosion, and just pressure differential alone, if you give it volume, it'll evacuate itself.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, even on these fairly upside down turbocharged cars, the charge goes out of the hole.
Yeah.
You know, piston's coming up, the charge is going out of the hole.
Yeah.
It will be less efficient with more back pressure, but you get it out, you know?
Yeah. So, hopefully we did a good enough job on camshafts. I know we kind of meander, but I think that's just part of guys talking cars.
Yeah.
I certainly believe that there's more good nuggets of information in here, everything from chemical stuff to tuning to porting to cams. So I mean, like, we have a good hodgepodge of experience to talk about this semi-intelligently.
Yeah. And, you know, if you guys ever had the time, you know, you just run stuff on the dyno, you know, like show it off. You guys have the stuff, you know?
Oh yeah. Coming soon.
Yeah.
I just need someone following me around documenting it all, because there's some shit we've done on the dyno.
You'll see. Like once you go, like, I want them to be 0.3 of the faster than the field before I start telling people what we're doing. And then like stuff like camshafts, do I need to sell them? I'm not convinced of that yet. You know?
Oh, do you need to make the top tier parts available to the public? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so like the stuff that I end up putting in his engine, like, so the last time I came up with camshafts in 2015, you know, the competitors, and then I kind of went off and I did my stuff. I went diving all over the world, whatever I was doing. And then the competitors all came out with their revised series, and they're flogging it really hard and, you know, online, you know, marketing it however they could. And that's what happened the last time that I released the cams. Everybody's updated cams were all based off of my specifications.
Right.
You know,
Right.
well, this new generation of cam, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to give you the all motor cam. I definitely have the turbo cams done. The turbo cams for this new configuration are done. The prototypes are ordered, and those turbo cams will need the timing system upgrades, because I pushed it hard enough where it will break their stuff, but it won't break my stuff.
Got it.
Yeah. So the price they pay.
Yeah.
In the meantime, hopefully all the viewers out there know to leave comments, questions. I feel like maybe I'm biased, but it's a great trio, like as you guys have mentioned, and it's kind of a rare opportunity. So I feel like there's a lot that the enthusiasts can take advantage of if they get into the comments and start asking more questions.
Yeah, I think you should also put up the technical the links to the articles that we read versus, and the articles that we want to be read before the next. Like, put all that information up so people can read it themselves.
Yeah, you have an opportunity to bring a lot of people along.
If I read a cam article, I'm going to read it with a better understanding if it's a good cam article or a fucking joke cam article, right? So I sent you a good cam article.
Yeah.
I thought you wrote it.
Huh?
I thought you wrote it.
That was drag sport. No, I don't know who wrote it. Like, it was more technical.
Okay.
Whatever happened to the Engine Labs article, the Skunk Engine Labs article? Where's that?
I don't know.
Brandon?
Not read
It's up?
It's up. I'll post it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta go spread that on Facebook right now. Then I need something else to spread online.
Oh, I'll send you the link.
I posted up the picture of that billet, Dave, and people are going wild.
The billet? What
Yeah.
billet?
The picture you sent me. You said post this. It was one of the unfinished billets.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll check it out later. I got to leak. I got to take a leak. So see you guys later.
All All right. See you later.